into the Kahoot on plant life, we will go ahead and begin. And I'll read the questions and answers out loud. All right, plant life. The first question. Which of these is essential for plant growth? Sunlight, salt water, darkness, or ice? Let's see how much you all remember from elementary school. Which of these is essential for plant growth? Sunlight, salt water, darkness, or ice? I think that's everybody. We got 10 people, so I'll go ahead and skip. The correct answer is sunlight. Good job. All right, next question.
I can't stop. Sorry. I'm done.
Oh, I gotta press next again. Sorry about that. Next question. What type of organism is a plant? Here's a tough one. Is it a fungus, an animal, bacteria, or an autotroph?
What's that?
What type of organism is a plant?
I think it's bacteria. I think it's an animal, actually.
All right, the correct answer is an autotroph.
I didn't even think it.
Autotroph. Before I proceed, fungus is like a mushroom or mold.
That's not plant.
Bacteria is
There's the plant family and then there's the fungi.
Exactly. Now, before I continue, who might know? Who thinks they know the definition of an autotroph? Anybody? We'll get to that later then. Just wanted to see. All right, next question. Those are our rankings so far. Next question. Which of the following is not a part of the plant? A petal, the cranium, bark, or chlorophyll? Which of the following is not a part of the plant?
The tree's a plant. Bark is
Yes, sir, a tree is a plant.
petals.
I think I chose the wrong one, but I think it's cranium by chance.
Wait on one more. The correct answer is a cranium. This is your cranium, your skull, your head of a human being.
Yeah, I kind of forgot what that was.
Oh, we're human. Yeah.
All right, next question. True or false? Roots are primarily responsible for photosynthesis in plants. True or false?
This is a hard question.
This is a hard one.
Wait, I might get it wrong. Hold on.
False. Anybody know the right answer?
Yes. The photo, it's the cytoplasm. No.
Somebody's reflecting there. What are those?
Chloroplast.
What are those little wavy things? You're getting there. But what's the basic name of it? They blow in the wind sometimes. And you got to rake them up off the ground.
Leaves.
Leaves. That is correct.
Dang it.
You were getting there. You were getting there. All right, a little change up in the polls here. Next question. We're almost done. What part of the plant is responsible for photosynthesis? Leaves, roots, stem, or flowers? I think I just gave y'all the answer to this. Leaves, roots, stem, or flowers? What part of the plant is responsible for photosynthesis?
I got it.
Waiting on one more person. One more person. It is the leaves. That is correct. Our next question, true or false again. The process by which plants make their food is called photosynthesis. Is that true or false?
If somebody says
I
false,
thought I told this thing to mix it up.
It's false.
yeah, it is false.
It's false.
Yeah, like just said that 5 seconds ago, didn't we?
Did we?
Why do I keep on dropping my
Are
headphones?
we like just talking about how
What is wrong?
photosynthesis like makes the food?
Just
Does that mean, wait, why did humans do photosynthesis?
I got it wrong. I
That makes no sense.
I
There's
clicked.
no more involved in it. This sucks.
Wait on one more response. That
Okay.
is true. 3 back-to-back questions about photosynthesis. All right, Friendly Panther still in the lead. Next question. What do plants release during photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide, nitrogen, hydrogen, or oxygen? James.
Stop.
They take
Stay
the
on
carbon
task, okay?
and release.
Calm down.
I think I died.
Oh, they
That's
just
how
carbon.
we can breathe. No, it's
Oh, no, okay, I get it, I get it.
Oxygen, that is correct.
Wait, who what? Who
So,
answered it first?
so humans, we give off carbon dioxide.
And then the plants take the carbon and turn it into oxygen.
Yeah, something like that. But it's a
Something like that.
it's a fair exchange on the world.
How does a student know more than the teacher?
The only thing.
I know.
You sure about that, sir?
Maybe.
All right. How do plants absorb water? Through the leaves, through the roots, through the stem, and through the flowers.
It's definitely through the flowers.
How many questions do we have?
It's 10. You got to go to work or something, sir.
Huh?
Thank you.
Can they hear it?
How do plants absorb water? This should be pretty straightforward. Through the roots. Everybody got that correct.
Yay.
All right, next question. True or false? Plants can grow without sunlight.
No.
True or false?
Oh shoot! No!
True or false? You press
Oh,
one
wait.
one.
That's true, I forgot.
Hey, so much for the student. Hey, so much for the students knowing more than the teacher, eh?
Did you
Eh?
put ball?
Eh?
It's supposed to be true, because some plants actually
Plants can
live
grow
in
without
water.
sunlight.
'Cause- wait, is it true?
You're right, actually.
No, because some
Yeah.
plants, like for example,
The
can grow in
majority of
caves
plants
that get no
need,
water.
Yes!
Oh wait,
The
no.
majority of plants need sunlight.
I know it was true.
Alright, what?
I knew it.
I thought it was true.
Plants cannot grow without
Sit
sunlight.
down, bro.
Why would you think that's true?
Then explain to me why moss exists in caves.
Mossy.
Have you ever been in a cave with moss?
Look it.
So what?
Look
But your average plant needs sunlight, especially the plants that we eat. Things that grow in caves and underwater are outliers. The majority of where we get our crops from, they need sunlight. They need clean soil, clean water, and clean sunlight. All right, and our last question, true or false? Plants use carbon dioxide from the air and nutrients from the soil to make their food. Is this true or false? And don't let the graphic give it away.
Yes, definitely false. Just like I know it's false. It's false.
No idea. I just pressed true.
That is true. All right, let's look at our top 3 performers for the game. In third place, we've got Mighty Raven. Congratulations. In second place, we've got the Lively Elk. And in first place, we have, drum roll, Friendly Panther.
How did you get every question right, Michael?
Well, thank y'all so much. All right. So now that we got that out the way, this was just a test to see what you all knew.
I know nothing.
Good job, guys.
Let's go ahead and begin our lesson real quick. And I know this is a technology class, but you know, a lot of our world does incorporate technology. From the cars we drive to the food we eat to how food is grown. All right. So the main question that I have for this unit, the name of this unit is I titled it Green Bites. Just to give you a rundown on what we'll be doing, we will be growing pinto beans in our classroom using a watering system powered by a microbit. So we're going to go over the plant life system real quick to bring everybody up to speed. So the question for this unit is, how can technology be used to create a sustainable microgarden ecosystem that optimizes plant growth and conserves resources? Anybody have an answer for that without us going deeper into the lesson? Yes, as in Never mind. Anybody have an idea how we might use technology to support plant life? In a classroom or on a farm. Maybe you got some experience, maybe a grandparent or somebody. Yes.
What is it called? Like the machine that drives around and it has those things sticking out and it waters all the plants?
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't have a name. Would that be an example of technology?
I think it's called the.
Yes. It's like an irrigation something. I know irrigation's part of it. So that's one way. Anybody know of any others? Yes, sir.
At my house we have an automated irrigation system, which like sends water through these pipe thingies, and it tracks how much water is coming out.
Okay, what kind of plant do you all use that system for?
Just our plants in our yard.
Just plants in your yard, like bushes, flowers, things like that?
My
So
mom
be-
is obsessed with that.
Okay, so beautification, all right?
Irrigation?
So,
Irrigation, you ever know about?
what's it called? An irrigation what?
Irrigation system.
Oh, I was talking to James.
It's called a central Atlanta irrigation equipment.
Okay, cool. Well, today we'll be talking about the wondrous world of plants before we begin our own plant life. All right? So, what are plants? So, if we go back to Kahoot, plants are autotrophs. Again, we look at the root word auto. An autotroph is pretty much something that, with the right resources, is sustainable by itself. So, if we think about photosynthesis, when a plant does its own photosynthesis, what is it doing?
Nom nom
Num,
nom.
num, num. What is that? What are we doing?
Eating.
It can feed itself. So all it needs is water, some sunlight. As long as the soil is clean and nutritious, it can pretty much, it's responsible for its own life. You ever seen a plant go to the store? You ever seen a plant at the grocery store that wasn't on the produce aisle?
Yeah. What? You're alone.
Take pictures next time. But in a normal world, you do not see plants at the grocery store or at a fast food restaurant getting food. All right, they're responsible for developing their own food through photosynthesis. All right, but other than that, plants are living organisms. Believe it or not, like I said, they photosynthesize with the help of sunlight, and they come in the form of trees, crops such as apple trees, carrots, potatoes, etc., etc. All of those things are plants. Also flowers, grass, even underwater plants. And as one of the students in class said, there are caves that have moss and things like that. So those are different types of plants that we see in the world. Now, the parts of a plant. First, we got the roots. What do the roots do?
Absorb minerals.
Absorb water. Say it louder for me, class.
Absorb water.
Absorbs water. Can you get the door for me real quick? Absorbs water. All right, the leaf. As we saw in the Kahoot, the leaf performs photosynthesis, meaning that it feeds itself through sunlight and nutrients. Now the fruit, we'll be growing bean plants. But your average plant has some sort of fruit that it gives off. Fruit is not a literal sense, as in grapes and things like that. It can be beans, it can be carrots. And also within these, especially with fruits, within these organisms that we can eat, are seeds that if fallen and nobody tends to it, the plant will begin to grow again in another spot, if you will. You also have the stem. The stem supports the plant and transports nutrients. All right, so the stem is one big blood vessel. If you think about it in terms of a human, what do you think might happen if a flower is standing and the wind blows it over, or a stick knocks it over and bends the stem? What do you think is going to happen?
It's gonna die.
It's going to die.
It's gonna live. Stand tall.
Now, it would live if a human were there to take the heavy object off of it and maybe tie it to a stick to make it stand up. But without any type of human interaction, a plant that has a bent stem will slowly die. Okay, so that's an important part. All right. The flowers. Now, on the bean plants that we're going to grow, even bean plants have flowers. Flowers of a plant are a reproductive part that leads to fruit and seeds. So as your plant begins to grow, it will have leaves, it will have small either yellow or white flowers, and then it'll eventually grow a long pod with about 4 to 5 beans in it that when ripe enough, you can pick them, and if you pick enough of them, you can put them in a pot and boil them and have them as a side on Taco Tuesday. And then I went over the fruit and seed part. All right, so the plant life cycle. So what we're about to do, we're going to start by germinating our pinto beans. So the first stage is seed life, all right, the seed stage. So life begins as a seed. I bought these beans at Dollar General. I didn't go anywhere fancy. I didn't go to Lowe's. I went to Dollar General. I bought some dry pinto beans. So that's where our plants will be starting off as, in the seed form. What we're going to do today, we're going to begin the process of germination, in which we put the beans on a wet paper towel. We'll tape them in the window, and the seed will begin to sprout an embryo, and then it will begin growing longer roots, as well as a stem with a leaf on it. Then finally, we'll be in the growth section. This is where our beans will begin to develop in a mature plant with stem, leaves, and even deeper roots. And I'll show you the plants over there. They started off small, but now the roots are so long that they're web-like and they're even hanging out of the pot underneath. Now, reproduction, the plants will begin producing flowers, which will develop into fruits and seeds. In our case, it'll develop into a pod with several beans or seeds inside of it. Then pollination. Now, the pollination process for our plants will be a little bit different because we're growing them indoors. So there won't be any interaction with bees or wasps or animals or insects like that can, land on it and take it elsewhere. So our beans are a little bit different. They will be grown indoor, but they still will be, and also it'll be climate controlled as well. And seed dispersal, new seeds spread out to grow new plants. So with ours, we're actually going to, as soon as the pods get ripe enough, you can tell by, they start off green, but then they slowly start to fade to white, or like an off-white color with brown stripes. That means that you can pick them. We won't let them get ripe enough to where they fall off and fall into the ground. We'll pick them. We'll be harvesting them, essentially. All right. So what plants need to grow? So without reading this list, what are 3 things that plants need to grow? Give me one of them.
Healthy soil.
Healthy soil.
Water.
What kind of water?
Rain.
Not just rain, but what kind of water? Can it have oil in it?
Fresh water.
Fresh water. All right, so nothing with any type of pollutants. What's the 3rd thing that our plants need to grow? Sunlight. All right, not too bright, just the right amount of sunlight. All right, yes, yes you can. All right, so that's kind of been summarized right here. Also, clean air is important. Luckily, we're growing it indoors, so we don't have to worry about any smog, any type of pollution. So it's a relatively clean air room. I got an air purifier, so that'll help with plant growth. Also, there's nice airflow in here, so there's people coming in here almost every day, so the plant will get carbon dioxide. And also a suitable temperature. Because we're indoors, we don't have to worry about any extreme hots, any extreme colds. So the plants will be lucky enough to grow. I'm pretty sure farmers wish they had that luxury. Luckily, we're just starting a small microgarden. And not on this list, it is an urban legend that if you talk to plants or play them music, that also helps them grow. Me personally, I believe that they are living organisms. They feed themselves, so I would imagine some human interaction, that extra step of care playing at music. I play at 90s R&B music myself, a little Bobby Brown, little New Edition here and there, Frankie Beverly and Mays. So, yeah, those are some things that help plants grow. All right, I'm going to quickly go over the pollination process. So with pollination, even though that doesn't necessarily apply to our classroom, pollination is the transfer of pollen from the male parts of the flower, the anthers, to the female part, the stigma of the same species. So when we start growing these plants, we're going to keep them near each other because we want to see how well they can grow close to each other since, there won't be entities like bees or wasps or yellow jackets, anything like that, cross-pollinating. Which leads me to my next point. How does pollination happen? It can happen through wind, just the wind blowing. Insects, I said, also birds can help spread plant life. Not to get too graphic, but when birds eat certain seeds and it comes out the other end, if it lands in the right part of a field, it can grow into a plant. So that's a way a bird can help spread it. And then self-pollination, some plants can self-pollinate themselves. So we'll see if that happens with pinto beans. And of course, pollination is important because it's the first step in the process of fruit and seed production, and it allows a plant to reproduce and also maybe even garner some genetic diversity. So I had my students last semester, they grew Great Northern beans and pinto beans together, and it looked like we had a cross between like a Great Northern bean and a pinto bean, but you know, I'm not too sure about that. I was going through the pinto bean bag, and some of them were kind of discolored as well. Once pollination occurs, fertilization can happen, and the fertilized ovule of a plant develops into seeds. And so with the types of fruit that we'll be growing, it's not really a fruit, but your average plant, like say a tomato plant, which I have one randomly growing in my backyard, it begins growing a green kind of, not really mushy, but like a fleshy like, you know, a tomato, and then it turns red. For us, we're going to be growing a bean. So that pod will start off green and kind of soft, and then as it gets older and older, it'll start to discolor and get a little bit more harder in terms of texture. All right. Of course, this information kind of ties into the previous slides, and I will put this on Canvas. But plants make beans not only to grow and reproduce themselves, but also however we know the earth to be made. These various plants give off food for animals and people. So that's their purpose. And without plants, this would be a very, very scary world, believe it or not. All right, and then of course, once seeds find a suitable place to grow, whether it be by us planting them or a bird eating them and releasing them elsewhere, the cycle continues. All right, it's a continuous cycle. All right, now I won't go over every single one of these, but these are just a couple of fun plant facts. So anybody familiar with the Venus flytrap? Yes. All right, everybody in here, most of everybody in here should be familiar with a Venus flytrap. It is probably one of the few carnivorous plants. Anybody knows what carnivorous means?
That means you eat meat.
It eats meat. Does it eat ribs?
No.
I'm pretty sure if we gave it a rib, it would. No, I'm just kidding. It eats insects. All right, it eats insects, so that's a form of meat. Let's see, what else? The oldest living plant, which is out in California, is called a Great Basin bristlecone pine, and this tree is over 5,000 years old. And then the world's tallest tree is a Hyperion, which is another redwood.
25 generations?
And its height is approximately 379 feet tall, equivalent to a 35-foot story building. All right, so we'll actually start this activity right here tomorrow. But after we put our beans in the window to begin the germination process, I'm going to form you all into groups. And each day in Canvas, you will have to go into Canvas. I'll have a module set up with a daily journal page. And you'll have to answer a series of just 3 basic questions like, you know, how does your plant look? What are some observable changes? And just some basic questions like that. I'll try to keep it at 3. Everybody in your group has to document it. If you're not here, we'll work around that. But not only do I want a text observation of the plants, but I also want you, if possible, to take photos of your embryo, and then when we plant them, photos of your plants growing. I want you to take photos of those and put them in Canvas. Also, once we get to about week 2, after we plant the beans into the ground, not only do I want you all to keep taking pictures, but after the plants begin growing out of the ground, I want you to take a ruler and kind of measure the growth. And then also, once we get the microbit watering and soil moisture system done, I want you all to take daily recordings of the soil moisture levels. And when we get there later on this week in terms of programming, I'll show you how this can be done. Any questions on this part before I go to our last slide? What you need? You good? Sure. Good. All right. Any questions? All right. So I think there's 10 of us in here. So I got on here 4 students. So I think we can get away with forming groups of 3 students. Trying to just take a quick look around. Let's do because we're missing 2 people.
We're missing Gerald and 8 and
Yep, we're missing them. All right, so this is what I want y'all to do. All right, I've got all the materials over here. I'm going to separate y'all into groups, And each group, I want you to get 6 pinto beans out of that cup over there. Not just yet, not just yet. Hold on, not just yet.
How about we make our
I'll form you all real quick. All right. So you'll get 6 pinto beans. You'll get a large resealable bag. You'll put your name, your group members' names on it, and then you'll get 2 pieces of paper towels. You'll soak them in water. Do not fold the beans inside of them. Just put the wet paper towels in the resealable bag. Put the beans on top, and then you'll tape the bags to the windows. Are there any questions before we begin? Recording this part. So make sure to be.
What are you doing?
So you remember what we did? So you're gonna get 6 beans out of here. Make sure they're not broken. Then you'll get 2 pieces of paper towel. You'll soak them in water. It might have to be 3. I don't know. Make sure you do not fold the beans up in the paper towel because we want them to be exposed to the sunlight.
So if I need 3,
What's up?
if I need 3, how am I supposed to like position the beans? Like,
I'll show you here in a little
on
bit.
top?
Yep, you'll put them on top. So what I recommend doing, and I'll show y'all,
It's so funny how the girls are doing
and I'll kind of demonstrate what I mean. Because last time we had students that folded the beans up in the paper towel, and that didn't really support the it didn't really support the plant growth like that. So let me show you. I'm gonna take this paper towel, I'm gonna soak it real quick.
Oh, so it all.
Yeah, and then I'll kind of squeeze it out a little bit, not all the way, not completely wring it.
Like this?
Yeah, you can do it like that. And then what I'll do, I'll fold my paper towel out like that. Drop the bean.
Wait, how many beans do we need in one paper towel? Just one?
No, just put 6 on there. So like this. I'll demonstrate it. So I'm gonna put my wet paper towel like this. And then I'm gonna get 6 of these beans. I'll make sure they're
Oh,
not
so we're gonna
broken.
wet the paper towel before we put the beans in?
Yes. So I grab 6 right there. And let me move this over. I'll put the beans in like that. Y'all see how I got them?
This? Like this?
Yep, just soak the whole thing. Just dip it in there and then kind of wring it out.
Kanye, don't get it. Don't. Student number 5. Don't get afraid with your hand.
And it's only 1 bag per group. Now see how I'm doing it?
One bag per group?
Yeah, 1 bag per group.
I work by myself because that's
That's fine.
I'm gonna also work on myself.
Oh.
That was folded. Get rid of that.
All right. Make sure you
so
unfold
like
that.
this.
Don't cover them. You see how I got mine? Because when we put them in the window, we want the seeds to be facing the sunlight. Because if you smother them, it might start growth, but at the same time, it's going to be surrounded by nothing but water, and it's airtight. So you might end up essentially what I call
Killing it.
cold. You'll be killing it, but it's like cold boiling it. So it's just sitting there soaking with cold water. Smells really bad. You don't want that to happen. Just like that. And I got some tape right there. So just find a clear spot in the window.
So
Take
can we
it.
choose a group or no?
I know some of the gentlemen here said they wanted to work alone.
Wait, I can work with Michael and James.
That's fine. That's up to you. Did you wrap the beans up?
Oh no, Michael said we only need 2,
Okay.
and I have this extra.
All right. And go ahead and take that.
Oh, student number 6. Yeah, student number 6.
The beans aren't showing.
It's
Is this good, Mr. Butler?
Yeah, that's good.
See, the paper towel is
Let me see
dense enough
that
to float to the top when you drop
So
it
we
in.
wanted to get what I like to do. I like to give it like a little firm foundation on the paper towels. As a matter of fact, just like that.
And put the beans on there.
Yes, sir. So we'll move these. We'll just move these temporarily.
Where have you been?
So we're not putting these in.
You are. You'll put the beans on top. Just put your beans right on top of that. Yep. I'll space them out a little bit. Yep, because you want the beans facing outside. Just take it on up high. You see what I did here? I wet the paper towel, I put it toward the bottom, and I put the beans on top.
Put it at the
Mr. Butler, is
This
putting
is
it
gonna
in
be looking real
two
ugly.
more than extra, or is
Alright,
putting
put
it
it
in
in.
two?
I want to keep it to 6.
It's gonna be looking real ugly, but
6
it works.
beans.
No, I'm talking about 2 paper towels.